When you stood there in, I guess, late April, it seemed like you were strongly considering retiring.
Yeah.
What was the process you went through of deciding to play another year, at least in
I had a really good exit meeting with Kevin and Don, and I think, the message was, we'd love to have you back, and we like what you do around the room with the guys. We like your compete level on the ice, and, the ball's in your court, kind of. And, I think I went home and, seriously considered both avenues. And at the end of the day, we had a kind of a timestamp on when he needed an answer by, and I'd started to work out and started to get back into that kind of summertime groove there, as far as kind of the program that I normally do, and I was feeling pretty good. Talked with my wife and kids, talked with my agent, and I think it was at the end of the day we were just kind of, I still had that urge, right? I think the message is that if you feel that you can still compete and still do it, and you still love doing it, why not keep trying? And that's kind of where I spent probably about 3-4 weeks in the gym going, all right, is this something I want to continue through the summer and still have that drive to get up every morning to go do it? And that was still there at that time, and that's when we called Kevin and had the conversation of, hey, we're definitely interested in coming back, and what does that kind of look like? And that the next couple of weeks, conversations happened, and we got to where we are now.
With the way you guys finish the season, there's usually from year to year a lot of turnover on teams, whether it's free agency or whatever, but there wasn't a lot of turnover this season. Most of your guys are back. Are you happy to see that there wasn't a lot of turnover and you guys get to do it as a team again?
Yeah, I think Kevin has put a plan in place, between him and the coaching staff, Donnie and everyone, and the plan was, set expectations, right? Last year's expectations were X, Y, and Z. I think for the most part we hit those expectations from an internal standpoint and said, that's great, let's now move those expectations, forward and continuing with the plan. A lot of times when you see turnover on teams, it's usually because expectations aren't met. And that's where this organization was different last year, where expectations were met, maybe exceeded a little bit. Now it's time to raise the bar. And that's kind of a credit to the guys in the room and the staff and everybody of getting on board and doing what we were asked. And that's the number one reason why I would say there's no turnover, because guys did what they were expected to do and then some. And when you have that type of commitment from guys that are willing to buy into a program that's going to be better for the long haul, that's you can't put a price tag on that.
What's the balance for you of staying physically ready, getting in games, and then serving as the mentor for Comrie, for Luukkonen in camp? How do you work that balance at this point in your career?
My job's to earn my spot, earn my ice time, make it difficult for these young guys to come in and take that ice, right? I mean, I've got obviously a reputation of, hey, you've been here, you've been doing it a long time, so you get a little bit of leeway, but at the same time, my conversation would be with the coaching staff is, if I'm not earning it, don't give it to me. And if one of these young guys steps up and earns it, by all means, give them the ball and let them run with it. Very similar case when I, left Florida back in 07, 08 when I went to Colorado. It was one of those things where I was a backup, played 20, 25 games, played great. And then, the ball was in my court when we went to Colorado. It was between me and Peter Budaj. It was like, hey, whoever takes the ball and runs with it, it's your net. So nothing's changed as far as my mentality of, hey, just because you've been there and done it doesn't mean you get that spot. Just hypothetically speaking, if Luukkonen and Comrie come in here and our lights out and I'm just okay, by all means, I would have that conversation. Say, hey, let those guys run with it till one of them falters, and I'll be here waiting in the wings, like kind of like a taxi guy, or however they want to play it. I'm mentally ready to be whatever role I need to be, but at the same time, I trained all summer to be the starter, to fight for my ice and play as much as my body's able to do.
Don said a little bit yesterday about how guys are here, that they're here because they want more, that they want to take the expectations from last year and take another step up. For you, what is taking that next step?
Well, the next step for me is to continue to prove everybody wrong on why I'm still playing. I think, people a long time ago said I wasn't good enough, or, he doesn't play the right style to play a long time, and you get all that negativity and you turn that into positive and say, you know what, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to go out there and compete because I love to compete and I love playing the game of hockey, and to do it at the highest level, it takes commitment. It takes a certain level of mental attitude, and that's where now I can share that on with. It doesn't have to be a goalie; it can be a player, right? It can be anybody. If hey, like you're here because X, Y, and Z, and it's not because physically I'm the best technical goalie out there or the quickest goalie out there. It's because mentally I've set the bar of saying, hey, I'm going to find a way to get it done. And sometimes in this game, it's finding a way to get the job done. And I think we showed that last year, of that determination of pushing through some adversity and saying, hey, we're going to keep pushing and growing. And nothing is really easy in this game. And sometimes, when push comes to shove and things get a little tough, guys mentally can kind of get overwhelmed and shut down a little bit. And I think I can be that mentor of saying, hey, like, go and get stuff here. Let's find a way to push through it, whether you're sore, whether you're old, you're a young guy, whether you're hurt, whether you're not. Like, you find a way to get it done, and that's the mentality that kind of my approach to things.
I know you're in different groups, but not on the ice together. What's your early impression of Comrie, just hanging around in the room and such?
A down-to-earth guy, real low-key as far as ego that way. He's very approachable, very smile on his face, welcoming, kind of that welcoming personality of hey, I'm Eric, nice to meet you kind of thing. It's not like he's, some guys you can walk in the room and you're like, oh, don't mess with that guy. He's kind of got like that type of aura around him. He's got a very welcoming aura, and a guy that's, I've had a couple conversations with already, and it's been very positive, and he's just looking to gain knowledge from the guys around him, and be here to pull on the rope with everybody else.
A guy like Eric, he's grinded through the minors. He's really fought to try to get that next opportunity. A lot like you did early in your career. How do you think that you can benefit being around a guy who has that sort of mindset, who isn't coming in thinking that this is my job? He's got this game out with.
Yeah, I mean, I think going through some adversity in his career, like I went through a bunch, but it teaches you to, again, fight through the restrictions, fight through the naysayers, and say, hey, just because you don't have the repertoire, the history behind you, doesn't mean that you can't do it. I think that was the number one thing is you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your adversity, you figure out, hey, I had to go through X, Y, and Z to get to where I am now. Now there's going to be a new hurdle, but he's already went through past experiences to now learn from that and now push forward. So, if he wants to lean on me in any way, shape, or form, I'm there, and to kind of that same path. I was up and down through waivers, this, that, and the other in 4 organizations before I actually kind of figured out how to play the game. And now I've been, 18, 19 years later. So, the sky's the limit with anyone if they got the right mindset. And, so far, from my conversations with him, he seems to be in the right frame of mind, and, let his skills out there go do the work.
Did you find at all that the end of last season, the way this team finished, refreshed you at all as you kind of made that decision and being excited about coming back to see where this team can take that next step? Yeah,
I would say it just wasn't the end of the year. I think it was just the course of the season of how, I missed a bunch of time, just the camaraderie of the guys, and then, again, the way, like I said, the way the season finished, we were kind of riding a high. We had some new, fresh guys coming in from college pushing, and but I think the way Kevin and Donnie, the way that they treat their players was a big factor in it. The respect factor is a two-way street, and it's always one thing for a player to respect the coach and fear the coach. or the GM for that matter. It was a two-way street of respect. It was an open conversation, and I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I seriously considered it was the respect factor that both Kevin and Donnie have for not just myself, but each and every individual in that dressing room, whether they're a first-year guy or a 10-year guy or a 20-year guy, it doesn't matter. They still give the same respect to all the guys based on, hey, you've worked hard to get here, and we value, what you do on and off the ice as well as your opinion. And if you've got an open conversation, that just makes a player feel empowered to want to go through walls for the coach and general manager.
You got a very young defense in front of you. Were you at all surprised? I know Power's the number one overall pick, but I know it's only 8 games, but how well he just adapted as a kid, and even a guy like Samuelson, who's very young. It didn't take either one of them long to just jump right in and play big minutes. Did that surprise you at all, as young as the two of them are?
They are young. I mean, the game's going younger, right? So, I think you're going to see it more and more, but I think there's been a path set forth prior, is that the league has 18-year-old stars, 19-year-old stars, and so why not them, right? Like, that's kind of the mentality that I kind of see is, it doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 24. You come in, you play with confidence, and so many times I've watched the league change over the years, and earlier in my career, the young guy would get sparing minutes. He'd get 4 to 6 minutes. He'd make one mistake, be put on the bench, right? Your confidence goes into the tank. With the league kind of shifting to that younger mentality, the way we've been treated from Donnie and the staff, it allows players to play freely and play loose, and to be able to play with that confidence, whether they make a mistake or not. He might make one mistake or 2 big mistakes, but he's doing 5 or 6, 7 really good things. And the media or fans, the way everyone's got a voice now, you always zone in on the negativity. And we've done a great job in the room as far as, hey, it's all right, shake it off. Watch these 5, 6 things you're doing really well. Keep doing that. Things will work itself out. And that's why we've had success with the young guys. That they've given the freedom and to make mistakes, because they've been given the confidence. Coaches have instilled the confidence in them to say, hey, it's all right, shake it off, keep going, you're doing things well.
Craig, is picking out new gear every year still fun for you, and what went into this year's look?
This year was, I turned it over. I didn't even do it. So I got like a couple texts from the Bauer guy. I said, hey, what are you going with? This is kind of your white kind of, historical, what you've kind of always done with. And my 11-year-old goes, that looks terrible. And I go, all right, well, here's the iPad and here's the website, go design the pads. And so I gave him, 25 minutes or so, and he came up with a couple designs, and I think he picked 2 or 3 out he made on the Bauer website. And we as a family sat down. I was like, because I'm not very artsy. I'm like I said, playing jam. I didn't even have anything for the outdoor game, and I felt like I was shamed for that. But anyways, yeah. So my 11-year-old did it, and that's what we went with.
What'd you think of the final result?
It actually turned out really well. I mean, it looked cool on like the website. I think the black and red one looks pretty good too. I haven't seen those yet, but again, my 11-year-old's got way more eye for art than I do. So if anybody doesn't like it, you guys can take it up with him.
Is that your most colorful get-up you've had?
No, I had black and silver for the outdoor game in Ottawa. That was pretty sweet. But again, that was my 11-year-old picked that one out too. So I can't take credit for any of this stuff. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, cool.
Thanks, Craig.